Well, hello. We didn't get our music this morning.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
pushed the wrong button.
Oh, that's fine.
You meant to do that. It's good morning, let me tell you.
You know, when it's this dark and dreary, it's bad. It's bad.
It is. We can always go back, pull it down, add it in, put it back up, but that's a lot of.
Yeah, nah, not worth it.
But I did get the cute new little thing up on there.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
So
good.
hello, everybody. We got our friends already joining in with us. Let's see. Did we have anything carrying over from last week? I don't think we did.
I don't think so either. Yeah, and you're right, Renee. It is almost Halloween. This is Halloween week. Woo, woo.
I'm just proud that I managed to get most of the decorations up here in the store before I got too much closer to Halloween. I did buy enough spider webbing if anybody came to the show or the live thing.
Yeah, so, yeah, there was a lot of it all over. Looked nice.
Well, I plan on doing the whole ceiling in the store. And
Oh,
I did that bit around the register. I'm like, I am tired of going up and down this ladder. The rest of the ceiling be damned.
right, right, right.
Let's see. So, hello, everybody. Please feel free to share our stream and video here. Invite your friends to join us. Anybody who's new, this is a time to ask questions about Earthbound Spirits, ghosts.
Folklore, Renee. That's all for no, 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 no. They have to come up with something to make it spookier on Halloween.
What do you mean? It's like that all the time.
Yeah, right.
TV says it's only right now.
Right, exactly right. This Friday, while we're saying hello to people, I will be on with the Jen and Tim show on 102.FM, which apparently is something new now, Star 102. Okay. And I'll be on some 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. I don't know what we're going to do, if we're taking calls or just talking. And then also on Friday the 29th, I'll be on Channel 3. We did a house in Strongsville, and it'll be aired. I think it's on the noon show for sure. I think that's when it's going to be on. But they'll probably be promoting it on their news in the morning too. So
Okay. Yeah, I knew you mentioned you had a few appearances coming up.
not like it used to be, that's for sure. But take what you can get. For those of you that know and were asking about the We Folk solution, got it made. It is ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
There is shrink thing at the top so it doesn't leak or anything. Somebody asked me at the talk on Sunday, why is it so hard to make? It's really not that hard to make. It's just time consuming. A lot of people don't know what chicks and hens are. And this is actually a picture of what's called a chicken hen. And of course, when I saw this at the store yesterday, I couldn't believe it. Of course, it's in here. But, and see the little petals that are here. When you make it yourself, you need 90 to 100 petals to make one batch. So that's why I guess I was happy at the time that when I went to that nursery and I bought all of his leftover chicks and hens because it's fall, that I didn't realize cooking tons of this in a pot with lemon verbena, what it would do to my house. Ted almost had to be running out of the house. He couldn't breathe in here. But at any rate, for those of you that don't want to go through it, it'll be on the website next couple of days.
So, Marian, have you heard of the divot boxes?
Nope. What is that?
So one of the questions is using a spirit box as bad as, well, we'll come back to the divot box because it's the next one after this. Is using a spirit box as bad as a Ouija board? And the spirit box are those like radio frequency things?
You know what? I just don't know enough about it. But I think anytime, I mean, even people that do automatic writing, they can get something bad that comes through that too if they're not protected. So I don't know enough about it to have an opinion.
Okay, back to the divot box. They're usually the ones that I've ever seen or referenced in. They're like, they remind me of like small little wooden jewelry boxes, and they have the double doors. And supposedly, bad, evil, malicious spirits are stored in the box, and they're in there. And sometimes you'll have like a little selenite stick and a crystal and something else, and that's supposed to lock it in the box.
And my question would be, how do you get them in the box?
Right.
Let's start at the beginning. You can't you can't contain them if you can't get them in the box. And keep this in mind. When I die, and if I decide to stay earthbound, this is how big I'm going to be. I'm not going to fit in a little box. So I don't know quite how that works. It reminds me of the Ghostbuster movie and them sucking it up and with that pipe and keeping them contained in that, whatever that thing was that they had him in. Looked like a little canister vacuum. But yeah, it's like, that's a movie because they could get out of that so easy.
So very easy.
So very easy.
So Sarah says, how do I ask the ghost in my apartment to stop locking me out? 3 times is enough. I smudge and it comes back.
Sarah, that is absolutely something that they can do. And because you are in an apartment, this is going to be a constant problem because there's a lot of earthbound spirits in any kind of complex where there's a lot of families living under a common roof. You said you smudge and it doesn't last. In an apartment, you should at least smudge that area where that door is at least once a week. That's going to be the only way. The other thing that you can do is, if we can figure out when the apartment is clear, you could put a quince seed up there, which would protect anybody from touching the door. So that would be my suggestion.
Let's see. So Swifty, who's been with us a few times on Zoom, is still having issues. Says the motion detector set off the office alarm at 3 a.m. again. Elevator broken again. Sewers smell worse than ever. Cleaning person saw the male ghost and heard him slamming doors. And that it's very frustrating that they're not able to get you to come out and get rid of them.
Well, and we probably don't want to know or say here, but I don't even know who you're speaking about, to be honest with you.
I think they're local, but I think it has something to do with like maybe they're not the owners of the building, if I remember correctly. So.
See, and that's okay. Let's back up there for a second. People that have their businesses that they are renting in a building, the only place that can be protected is what you are paying rent for. Mm-hmm. So yes, your office space could be protected, but the elevator is public, the front door is public. There's nothing that can be done about that.
And that makes it tough.
Really bad.
Good question. Pat says, Marianne, did you ever meet Ed and Lorraine Warren? Do you have any thoughts on their work?
Before Ed died, I had conversations with both of them, but they went to the, it's like you're either on this end of this or this end. I like to stay in the middle. They went to the very religious end of it. And they always used God's name or Jesus's name when they went and cleared houses, which I avoid doing that. The older Lorraine got, and goes with old age, I think you just start, flipping out and don't remembering things and that kind of stuff. I think that they were very, very effective in their time period when nobody believed anybody that this could even happen. So, the pioneers, and everybody does it. Pioneers start, but everybody does it better after them.
Well, there's always somebody who's improving everything, right?
Exactly right.
So, Mr. Miyagi asks, have you ever asked an Earthbound what it looks like inside a portal?
It's like asking somebody that's standing in front of the light before they go into it, tell me what it's like. Or it's like asking somebody that had a near-death experience and they made it into the light, tell me what it was like. If it's so wonderful and beautiful and bright and loving in the light, I just got to figure it's the exact opposite in a portal.
Let's see. So we had Dora. She says, Marianne, you told me on Zoom that I have a portal in my upstairs hallway a few weeks ago. If you can recall, is the portal in the huge mirror at the end of my hallway?
I wish I knew if she was home now or not. Don't look for portals in mirrors. You're better off looking for a portal in a solid wall. Yes, they can be in mirrors, but it's not that common as people think.
Let's see. See, I came to the store today trying to figure out this echoing problem.
And it's in here, a little bit in here now too.
Keeping me on my toes. I'm going to blame the fairies. James wants to know, what's the oldest ghost you've encountered? 1700s, 1600s?
Yes, I have seen them from that old. There's certain areas in Ohio where turn of the century, 1700s to the 1800s, they're still stuck around. I don't remember, and I suppose somebody can look it up real fast on their phone, but I don't know what year or century William Shakespeare's daughter died in. And I actually talked to her in Akron. So I'm probably the 1800s, I would guess. Of course, I don't know when Shakespeare was popular. I didn't pay attention that good in class during that time, 50 some years ago.
I was some of the plays, but I didn't care about the history and the dates of it.
Yeah, right. Who remembered that?
I was that.
And I was lucky I remembered the War of 1912. So
only because the date's in it, right?
That's right.
So Swifty says, yes, it's a Westlake law firm.
And that's why your area can be protected, but there's nothing that can be done about the building unless, and some companies have done it, unless you can talk the person that owns the building, get permission from them for me to do it. And I'm sorry, but I just won't take your word for it. I need more than that. Because I got in trouble once because, the boss said, yeah, you could come and do it. I almost got thrown in jail. So no.
Right. So Rene says Shakespeare's daughter would be 1600s.
Oh, thanks, Rene. I knew it was a long time ago. So yeah, I met her in the 70s, late 70s in Akron here in Ohio.
In Akron, of all places.
Well, she came over with the leather-bound work of his that this guy had bought at an auction. And it was not like his usual works. It was never actually became a play. Mm-hmm. And it had a lot to do with children, which he never did plays about children like that. And it was just very dear to her, and she came with it. And like I said, she was a twin. I didn't even know Shakespeare had kids, let alone twins.
The more you know.
Yes, right. Something else, forget.
Right. Yeah. Singh says, when you've interviewed ghosts that have encountered aliens, have they commented that the aliens can see the earthbound spirits?
Well, yes, because the ghosts talk to them. So obviously the aliens can see them.
So then the inquiry mind, like, are they the same like energy frequency, and that's why? And is that why some people can see them and others can't?
And maybe that's the same thing with the wee folk jumping in and out. Could be. See, I believe aliens are on our plane, though.
I'm sorry, I was reading comments.
I think aliens are on our plane.
Okay. So they're not interdimensional.
They are not. They are not.
There's one gentleman, and I'm forgetting his name. He's got a book on the planet Venus, and says that the aliens live there. They're on like a different dimension or plane, and that's why we can't see them, but they're there.
And that may be true with the gravity, and who knows what the energy is like on other planets. But that very well could be true. I've never been there. Don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then like kind of those little things that I'm like, oh, okay. And then
when somebody else tells it to you, you go, I heard that before.
Yeah.
Right.
There was some clarification. So Adam says Dybbuk boxes supposedly hold negative energy spirits, not human earthbounds. And they are put there by a person doing a spell and conjuring. There are videos of people buying them off the internet and opening them at home. Bad things start to happen. Some of those reactions are incidents seem real.
Don't know. Never saw one. I would have. I would like to be in the room when one of those are open so that I could see for myself if there's really something in there.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
I don't know.
I mind that would get in trouble because I would want to go see.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like I don't know. You know, that lady that wrote that letter that she wanted to catch him and save him. Maybe that's what she needs. That was on YouTube a couple of weeks ago.
Speaking of, and YouTube, are you doing another WTF letter session soon?
No, I'm thinking about it, but today's at 5:30 is Halloween ghosts. Ghosts that act up really bad on Halloween.
Did Shakespeare's daughter cross over when you ran into her?
She did. She wanted to see her whole family. Yes.
Good. So Mary says, how often do you see earthbound spirits when you're out and about? Do you see them everywhere you go?
Yep, they're everywhere. They just don't know I can see them. They were in the grocery store yesterday. Where else did we go yesterday? They were at BJ's yesterday. BJ's has absolutely no paper products. In case you're going there for that, don't go. Because there's no paper products there. So
no problem.
They're just a little FYI. But yeah, they're everywhere. We stopped. I don't know if we even ate out. Yes. No, we ate at home. No, they're and again, if I want them to know I can see them, I'll wink at them.
You'll wink at them. Otherwise, they don't know that you can see them.
No. Which is so good.
So our friend Sandy says, can we convince the Cleveland Browns to employ your services, please?
I wish they, the Indians did, and it worked out for them. Nothing I can do.
Well, the thing with the Indians, though, we farm out our players so much that it's almost like a moot point.
Well, that's right. The Indians are the farm team for everybody else, as far as I'm concerned. They get them, they train them, they make them do really well, and then they sell them. So no, excuse me, trade them to get more young ones in to trade back again. So,
right.
Yeah.
That
and I have to laugh because of all the ball players that I've done work for with the Quincy. It was very hard. Look at ball teams when they're playing, they don't exactly have pockets in their uniforms. Mm-hmm. So to keep them safe and not have any negative energy put on them, I try to get them to keep a quinseed on them when they play ball. So no, I ended up buying a bunch of scapulas. And for those of you that are Catholic know, it's like a little holy card on a ribbon. and I rammed the seed down in the holy card. Wear this. Oh, yeah, no. It was hot. The ribbon broke. Whatever. So a lot of the players have their seed in their tooth. My dentist will do that. And you cannot believe how many players that don't play for the Indians anymore are running around with that seed in their tooth with other clubs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, come here, I'm going to pull your molar out. Nah.
You got to have that little cavity in there to begin with, right? And
then, well, it has to be a cavity to be filled, or a filling that has to be redone for whatever reason. In other words, no healthy tooth.
Right. So Amanda says, I finally got my brother to sign up for a Zoom with you. He says one of his friends is a psychic and told him that he has a strong evil ghost bubble around him that keeps other ghosts away.
Okay, maybe that's a word he's using for the white light around him for protection. Maybe, I don't know. And when he comes on Zoom, I guess I'll know. What, the next Zoom is November 19th. That's the only one we're going to be doing in November. So hopefully he's on that one.
So yes, if you're interested for Zoom, there's only one. So don't wait to the last minute to sign up for that. Adam says they should have taped it in their jockstrap.
Yeah, and I doubt if it would be any good for the next game.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I learned real quick when I moved back and got back into baseball and everything, Army brat, Army wife, that, don't get attached to a certain player on the Indians team. They're good and they're this, and you're like, that's my player, because they'll be gone. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. The minute you like a character, they're killed off. The minute you like a player, they're trailed off.
Okay. The thing is this, the guys have stayed friends with me. Every time there's a problem, they know my phone number. So,
like, gee, imagine that.
Yeah, story of my life. It's okay.
So we have a question about fairies. Have you ever seen a fairy that looks like a black cat and likes to hide shiny things?
You know what? You know what else does that? Crows and magpies. They do that also. And a lot of witches, some of witches, I believe, use cats as familiars and to do bidding for them and to go be Snoopy for them, send them off to somebody's house. So it wouldn't surprise me. There's, energy is very powerful, and energy can be used for really good or for really bad.
I mean, I have a black cat, and he's just my snuggle buddy.
Right. I mean, it's just a black cat. Exactly. No, I'm talking about ones that are conjured up more. That's what I'm referring to.
And the reason why this question stood out, my cat's name is Cat Sith. And there is like a fairy being, kind of like a alpha big cat. And he's like the producer of all of the mini cats below him. And when I was reading the Dresden Files, he was a very fun, snarky, kind of badass character. And I love the conversations that he and Dresden would have, because they were always winning another. So he became one of my favorite characters. So, and my cat is not the snarky, badass cat.
Oh, no, your cat is no.
Lay there and pet me, cat.
No, he's a couch potato cat.
He is. He's a big blob. Lisa says, my cats would make horrible familiars. They don't listen to anyone.
Yeah, you're right. That's why they're conjured up, because those do listen.
Right. Brooke says, I think the Kansas City Chiefs need your help. Something is crazy weird this season. Not a football fan, but my Utah family is.
And okay, let me give you an example. And let's go with baseball. So the Indians are playing New York, and they're in Cleveland to play. And stadium is packed, no standing room only. And I'm going to go back a bit. I think A-Rod played for New York. I think. Did Alex Rodriguez play for New York, Ted? Yes. Okay. Got to be sure.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. Believe me, don't play Trivial Pursuit with him. So, okay. So now he gets up to bat. At least 10,000 people in that stadium are going to be looking at him going, you son of a gun, miss that ball. You're a jerk. You're not going to hit it. That's negative energy. And it's going on him. That's why once I clear a team or a person on a team, I want them to keep a seat on them so it doesn't happen again. And it's just that simple. That's all it is. So.
All right. Oh, so we have a couple of our other friends coming a little late. So friends from Saudi and Julie, who's right down the road from where I'm at right now.
Oh.
But Rene says, oh, yes, a cat Sith looks like a cat with long ears and has a white spot on its breast. It hangs around the Scottish Highlands and maybe a transferred witch per Scottish folklore.
Cute.
So it kind of runs around in that
realm. Yeah, good. Yeah. Nice.
And
I'm glad we know so many people that are so intelligent and help us out like this. This is great.
Maybe one of these days, Miriam, we'll have to upload pictures of our cats and be like, he's named after this, but looks like this.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, because I've got one that's a slug and one that isn't. So
well, I'm surprised your active buddy isn't behind your blinds there.
No, he's in the doorway just waiting to pounce.
What about now?
That's where he is. Yeah, he's just sitting there waiting.
So there was a question here, and I can't find it because there's so many, about earthbounds being attached to people versus properties. Like, are they all always attached to a place? How do they get attached to a person?
No, they can be attached to a property and or a person or a thing. Person, place, or thing. Negative energy can be attached to. When the towers went down in New York on 9/11, everybody was 100% positive that the ground that those towers fell on were now cursed. Wrong. They were not cursed. That property is not cursed. Mm-hmm. But there are some properties, well, a town, an old man had a street that it was maybe 10 houses on the whole street. His house was at the end of the street, and he had maybe 40 acres back there, and he had 3 sons. And the sons, and because this was a very affluent neighborhood, there were contractors after this man constantly to sell his property. And he would not sell his property. He would, when he died, that was going to be some kind of a preserve, a park reserve, something. It was natural habitat. It was not going, and his sons knew that. And his sons also knew that the second he took his last breath, they were going to sell it. And son of a gun, as soon as he died, within 6 weeks, they had, I don't know how many bids from how many different contractors for that property. Dad didn't trust the boys. Dad never crossed over. And then it started. And he made their lives so miserable. And he started, and he cursed that property before he died. And he said, anybody that builds anything on that will have nothing but heartache. They got some houses built on it. Somebody did buy them. The first 3 houses they put up within 6 years, all 3 of those houses people died in. Young people. And not by murder, not by suicide. One fell down steps and broke their neck. Another one drowned in their backyard pool. And another one, the guy was working on his car in the driveway and the car fell on him and crushed him.
Oh, no.
So Yes, that ground could be cursed like that, but the curse absolutely could be removed.
Well, we had one of our fun friends here, and again, there's so many things coming in that she mentioned. Today is National Black Cat Day.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So,
See, there's no such thing as coincidence.
no, no. Let's see. Westies asks, have you ever met an earthbound from a shipwreck like the HMS Titanic?
Yes, and I saw Earthbound Spirits on. There is a ship that is docked in Cleveland most of the time. You can go on tours on it. And there definitely are Earthbound Spirits on there. There were Earthbound Spirits on the Queen Mary.
The Queen Mary went down in the
Queen Mary, yeah. I think that's docked out in California, Los Angeles, San Francisco. There were ghosts on there for sure. But yeah, definitely. Titanic, no, haven't run across that. But definitely, yes.
Let's see. Charlie's mom says, how do ghosts at stores work? If a store already has a resident ghost, do other ghosts attached to customers enter?
Yes, or when a customer comes in, they've already got a ghost attached to them. And, it happens. They can walk in, and if the store is a big enough store where they don't have to be in the same area, they may stay. But again, adult ghosts don't hang around with one another. The energy affects them somehow. So if it's a big enough store, they can stay, or they can come in from one of the other stores in the strip mall. Yes, of course, they can come in and out however they want. And I did a store not that long ago and got all the seeds up in it. And within 3 days, there was a ghost in there. It was like a 5,000 square foot place. It was big. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out how. The furnace and air conditioning was on the roof of the building. And who walks around a huge factory and looks up to see where doors are? Because why would there be a door on the ceiling? And so we had to get that covered.
A very stubborn ghost.
Right.
Kind of like how you had mentioned on a Zoom, one of the last ones, about how somebody had somebody that kept coming in through the attic because like they were just so persistent on getting in that they were coming in through the attic.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, when they're used to be coming in and out at will whenever they want, and the seeds go up and all of a sudden they can't get in, they are not happy. And that's when they'll stand out there. They don't do it for very long, but they will stand out there, kick the door, bang the door, run around on the roof up there where it sounds like trees are falling on it, but they can absolutely do that.
So when the Titanic sank, did the white light appear in the water for those who drowned, who were maybe stuck?
Yeah, I'm sure, because even people that have drowned in a pool or a lake that stayed earthbound, yeah, as soon as their spirit came out of their body, the white light was right there for them. Yes.
Let's see. So Heather says, how can you protect yourself from earthbounds attaching to you when you go to houses and stores?
Wear a quincy. It's the only way I can say it. I don't know. There's other things that work a little good, just a little bit. They're not 100%. As far as I'm concerned, the seed's 100%.
This echo is really getting on my nerves here. If I don't talk too loud, I don't hear it. So
right.
Geezer Gamer says, my daughter and I see spirits in full color occasionally in our house. A few days ago, we saw a tall figure covered in auburn flowing hair run when we saw it. Tall, about 7 foot. Any ideas what that was?
That was probably, you probably saw one of, it would be a folklore thing, that tall in a woman. There were, like, trolls can be really tall. There are ones in Ireland that women that are really tall. There is a name for them too, which is totally escaping me. But that could be what it was. And what makes me think so is the long flowing robes and the auburn hair. That's what's making me think. The one in Ireland, not banshees, but it's similar to a banshee. And banshees, though, usually are tall women. Um, but it's still another. There's still another name, and they were known to steal babies.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's
can't think of it either.
morning.
Pardon?
It's going to come to me at like 3 a.m. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. I just
So, Brooke.
worries.
Oh,
That's what they're called.
okay.
Worries. Yeah. And there still may be more names for them, but I know them also as worries.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm sure it's a similar and different name.
Right.
Brooke says, fun fact, pre-COVID, I worked at Titanic, the artifact museum in Orlando, Florida, as an actor historian. Lots of ghosts there, but not passengers and crew as much as ghosts attached to the building. We get a lot of Titanic fan Earthbounds that love our museum.
That went on the road, and it was here in Cleveland for a while. The displays, and I'm sure you know, Brooke, they had hunks of ice looking like, everything all over, and they had stuff that they had brought up from the Titanic, the actual Titanic, and it creeped me out in there, and there were a lot of ghosts in there, but none of them were from the Titanic. Most of them were building ghosts. So you're right.
So interesting.
The only one that I went screaming out of was in Oklahoma City.
Do tell.
I was okay. They did a really strange thing at that museum. They bring you in and they set you in a classroom like you are working there, and then the radio comes on, the actual radio and the tape that happened the day of the bombing, with the people screaming and yelling, and then you hear the crashing and the booming, and then you get to go through. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. And I was there with James von Prague. And we went down to the first exhibit room, and that was the room that had all the little shoes from the preschool, all the kids that got killed there. That I had to leave after that. It was just, it's like when I've been in the Holocaust museum. I don't know. It's just too sad. It just can't, and I have to leave stuff like that. But the same thing happens if I go to a casino. I can only stay in the doorway and play a machine for maybe 10 minutes because those places are full of ghosts.
Oh, see, too many people, too much noise, too many people in my personal space. Like, why do you have to touch me when you're walking by me? Like,
right. And I don't know. I mean, I know everybody says they go to Vegas for the shows, but they usually come back broke too. And I don't know. I'm still from that class where I work hard for my money. So
yeah, I don't feel the draw for gambling or addiction, but it's more of, it's just so crowded and loud and just.
And the thing is this, people, the ghosts that are there are people that died broke from gambling, or were killed by people that they owed money to. I mean, these are the kind of ghosts that I ran into, and that's just not comfortable.
Yeah. Let's see. So one person says maybe it was a harpy.
That's another name. You're absolutely right. It could be. I believe that is the Irish one, though, too, Harpy.
Mm-hmm. And somebody else mentioned the Kaliak, but I thought the Kaliak was like one entity for the wintertime.
That's a seasonal one.
Yeah, but maybe they take children too.
Maybe, yeah.
The lady who I would like to ask, she's currently teaching, so I'll have to send her a message.
Oh, okay.
And I'll know maybe more for next time. Let's see. Charlie's mom says, Melissa, you may know. My son is playing the game Phansmophobia. Yeah, video game. It's all about ghost hunting, and they have a Ouija board in the game. Can this bring through spirits? I don't know if you're asking if it can bring spirit through the TV from the game, but I don't think it can.
No, you cannot do that. Just like somebody will say, I have ghosts in my house, but so I stopped watching all the ghost shows on TV. Really? No, you're not going to get a ghost come in through your TV. You can have an earthbound ghost in your house that messes with your TV, but the ghost didn't come out of your TV.
And knowing that it might spook you.
Right.
So maybe we have to ask Ted. What can I do if I think someone is astral projecting into my home and space? How can they stop that?
You got a problem, because I have no way do I have any answer how to stop somebody projecting in your house. You're not dead, so the seeds don't stop you. And the only thing that I have found out over the years is that usually it's not people's homes that they go into when they project or astral plane. They go other places, but I have no answer for you. I don't know.
But I've never really looked into that. That might be something on a long night where
Actually, there's somebody I know down in Southern Ohio that may have an answer to that. I'm now that's got me curious now myself.
We have homework now.
Yes. Oh, great.
Homework.
Well, October's almost over, so I'll have all kinds of time after this month.
Oh, now you just dared the universe.
Yeah. I should have never done that. Take it back. Take it back.
And it's funny, about 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, we're missing somebody, and then they show up. There's our Lewis.
There he is. Nothing like being a little bit late, but how you doing?
Yeah, how's your project coming on? Lewis, and I'm sorry, I meant to message you back privately about your question, and I'm still entertaining how to word this out for you. So I haven't forgotten. Let's see. So somebody asked if you had seen the exhibit Bodies, and if you had, were there earthbounds attached to it? And that was an exhibit of, like, if I remember correctly,
no skin, bones, muscle, and bones. And my God, they used criminals that died in prisons and just took them and took everything off of them. I mean, just bones, or let's just let them. When that exhibit came to Cleveland, I didn't make it through that one very much either, because almost every one of those had somebody attached to it. Out of 10, maybe 2 wanted that done. The other ones were so angry that was done. And those things were that was a nightmare just waiting to happen, going to look at that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Rhonda, one of our friends here online from Facebook, because I believe the question came from YouTube, so they can't see it, says, grade your house and ward it. Grade your house and ward it like with the Ouija jar to stop someone from astral projecting in. Okay. Now, kind of thinking like it would be an energy thing, and if you're feeling them come in, it's kind of like an energy back, like a forceful, like you're not thing. But I've not had to do that, so I can't test that. So Rhonda, probably.
Yeah.
So there's a couple questions from people about the Lady in White and how they haunt isolated places. And a few people have commented. And my joke always is that Lady in White she's everywhere. She haunts everything. She's in every abandoned house. She's on every far country road. The Lady in White that haunts anything.
Everybody sees her.
So are they really earthbound, or are they more like a fairy type thing?
No, I think that they are. Some of them, I believe, are just earthbound spirits. And remember, they can change clothes. They don't have to be wearing what they died in or buried in. So they can change clothes. And and maybe one or two of them could be, fairies or, one of them, but hard to say. And let's face it, these people can't be everywhere at the same time. This one person can't be everywhere at the same time. So of course there's more than one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just like, oh, the lady in white again. She gets around.
Yeah, she's having a good time, right?
Or the tall gray guy, that always has the hat.
Right. The top
Usually,
hat. It's always a top hat, and
yeah,
usually a cape too.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
it's
He comes
always the
like
same.
half
Right.
around a corner, or coming down some stairs in the back
Right.
of a picture, and I'm like,
Right.
he gets around too.
I wonder if the white lady and what is it, the Jersey Devil, is that the devil monster that's supposed to be in the woods in New Jersey?
That was supposed to be a half human, half devil thing that was birthed. Some stories say they go around eating people.
Oh,
Uh,
don't know that one. Okay.
yeah, the stories that I've heard.
I think maybe I've seen that one on Criminal Minds had somebody like that on once. It was weird like that.
Mhm.
But I don't know who was the one with Sculler and Mold.
The X-Files.
Sometimes you saw stuff like that on X Files.
Yeah, well, the Jersey Devil would fall into that cryptozoology, I think, with
Okay.
Mothman.
Okay.
You know, um, let's see. What was the other questions here? Well, Wanda says, "What if the lady in white is a manifestation of the goddess?"
Let's hope so.
Right. Although usually the stories of Lady in White, and I got to talk quieter because I hear the thing echoing.
Yeah.
They're not usually good, inspirational, spiritual messages or interactions. It's getting your car to drive off the road, or you pick her up on the side of the road. She takes you to a house, and the house is abandoned where she drowned her children. Or it's never a good thing that a goddess presence would be
Yeah. No, that
trying
is
to
not
part
good.
ways with you. You know. Now that being said, sometimes people have seen a tall lady in like white lace walking around in the store, and I haven't quite put my finger on if it's like a manifestation of the personality of the store, or if it's one of the goddesses that I have worked with throughout the years that just kind of comes in.
And your store is so secure that it has to be somebody from the light.
Yeah. So quite different in a way, I would think.
Yeah.
Usually these ladies in white in hauntings are not anything positive with a good message for you.
Just like it's the old thing, oh, it's all in white, so it must be good. Or I see shadow people, they're all black, so they must be bad. That thinking has got to stop. Somebody that's all black, when you spot them, doesn't mean they're bad. That's just how you're seeing their energy. And we can do that for the white woman too. That doesn't mean she's good because she's in white, but that's how that's how she's letting you see her.
Let's see. This is interesting. Karen says, last year my husband and myself were sitting in the family room and we both heard a loud boom and a bright flash of light went through the room, almost like a shooting star. Was this an energy of some sort?
See, I would be curious to know where the moon phase was when that happened. And that really could have been, one of the orbs just flashing right through the house. Somebody just called me or left a message about that about 3 weeks ago, actually. And I did talk to her, and her house was fine. And I'm thinking that this sounds very similar to that. No, that was something good. That wasn't bad.
Mm. Let's see. So we are about 10 minutes out from when we usually wrap up. So do you want to tell everybody again what your video today is going to be at 5:30?
Okay, the video today is going to be on Halloween ghosts. And they're interesting. And yeah, we'll get to the creepy letters again sometime. I have to get the other ones out of my head first. And this Friday, the 29th, is the Friday before Halloween, and the Jen and Tim radio show, 102.1 FM, and Channel 3. I'll be on there, probably on the noon show.
Mhm.
Now we have to talk about the podcast.
I was just pulling up banners. So here's where you can find the podcast. It is on Spotify, Google, everything but iTunes, because I'm still fighting with iTunes. This has been a long, long fight with them. First, the artwork wasn't the right size, so I make it the right size. And then it still wasn't the right size, so I make it that new size, and it still won't go. And now it's been a lot of back and forthing. So it's on Amazon under Audible, because you can actually listen to podcasts on Audible. Google, Spotify, Stitcher, everything but this is the actual home on our hosting, so you can always find it there as well. We put our episodes the first and third Wednesdays of the month right now. So our first one was, we did common ghost questions and misconceptions. Some of them which we haven't even talked about on here, because we've kind of really sat down and said, well, what haven't we talked about yet?
Right.
Our second one went out last week. And I think we were kind of kicking around the whole portal thing for the next one.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because there's a lot of questions about it, and we can certainly fill a half hour.
Right. So that being said, if you have questions about portals, or if you want us to talk about and debunk something, here is the email for our podcast. So feel free to send in, and we'll get them. We'll go over them. We may talk about them in the podcast and address them. I think one of the first things we're going to point out is, just because two mirrors are facing one another does not mean it makes a portal. I don't care what they say.
Or somebody came up to me on Sunday at your store and said to me, I have 5 portals in my bedroom. Kid was about 16 years old. I thought,
how are you not in the other dimension then?
Right. And how did that happen? So, no.
So yeah, first and third Wednesdays is when we are launching these to start. Maybe as we have more momentum and more topics, more things, feel free to submit topic ideas, or Marion, I think you would even be open to, if somebody had you come out, if they want us to share their story.
Right, exactly. And I've got a few A-list people that I've done work for that I will try to see if we can't get them on. But I did contact some of the sport figures that I know that
I was really hoping for the one.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, well, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know. I don't want anybody to know it. Well, heck, the whole team knew it. Yeah, but this isn't going to be the team. It's like, okay. So they still don't want to talk about it. It's still taboo. So, and the Zoom on the 19th of November. Again, there's only going to be one in December too. I don't even think we have a date for that one yet, but because I'll be in the store in December, so I don't know when that will be. I don't think we have a date for that one, but definitely on the 19th of November.
Oh, well, thank you, Mary Jo. Mary Jo and Rene have said that they have heard and are enjoying.
Oh, good.
So, yay to my editing skills not being horrible.
Yeah, good. It's working.
So let's see. So we went over your videos for tonight, and we have the Zoom. Zoom is where, if you're somebody new joining us and you're wondering if you have Earthbounds in your house or a portal, you come on Zoom with us, and you make sure you have your camera on and your microphone. And Mary, I can tell you what's going on in your house, be it Earthbound Spirits, portals. So, and everybody gets to ask 2 questions. We ask that you keep it kind of short and sweet. We don't need everything that happened when you were 10 years old, because it doesn't apply to what's going on now. So we want to make sure everybody can get their questions in before it's too late in the evening. So, but that's the time to come in. We do not air what happens on Zoom on these for everybody to know, unless you bring your question up like one of our friends did here. But otherwise, nobody's going to know that you were on our Zoom. It's our
And it's 18 and over for Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
You have children and they know what's going on in the house, and you're open with your children and everything else. But I am not going to tell your children what's in their house. That's your job. You're the parent. So I'll talk to you and just set up in a bedroom someplace, close the door if you have kids, and it doesn't make a difference. They'll still be able to tell if there's something anywhere in the house, even from one room. So.
Right. So to join us on the Zoom events, I am getting ready to pop that up. Go to goddesselite.com, click on events and Zoom events, and that's where you can find that. So
we were out last night with some folks, and they had taken business people out to a restaurant in Chagrin Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched a cup and saucer get pushed off a table that nobody was sitting at. And when their waitress came over, she said something to the waitress, and she says, "Oh, this place is so haunted." She says, "This stuff goes on all the time." So, and of course, sometimes when you ask somebody something too fast, they can't think of the answer. I says, "Which restaurant? Where was it?" And that was too fast. And so she's supposed to get back to me. But how many of you know some place where there is a restaurant setting that the restaurant would be open for us to come in and have a dinner and a talk? If you know of a place like that, let Melissa know or Ted know. How many people, this is 2 years now that we haven't been at Carrie Sereno's for Halloween, and people are really missing that. So if somebody has any ideas about that, let us know, because we're open to it for sure.
we are. I mean, I've tried to find some other places. They're either not big enough, or maybe the building is big enough, but they have like 5 parking spots. So
That's an issue. Could keep that in mind, that people have to park. There is, and we thought we found another place in Strongsville, and I won't say where, and we were all set up, and then the first 2 years ago, then it got canceled because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And stuff started opening up, and we contacted them as soon as stuff opened up about this year, and they decided, I think it was the subject matter they weren't too fond of, I think. And so again, we have no place for Halloween, which is sad, because this was always a good thing to do.
Well, and there's been a couple instances where we thought we had other places, maybe without the dinner, but just a walk, and had it fall through because a partner's like, "No, we're not putting that out there." So it's been a little bit of a challenge. And I'm typing in, Danielle mentioned the Pomeroy House in Strongsville, so I'm going to make one of my 75 tabs on my phone browser.
It's cleared and the seeds are up.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I did it for one of the TV stations about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Well,
maybe they've taken them down. I don't know, but it was fine. It should be okay.
Well, good point, Janice, because Janice is local, one of my good friends here. She says the winery won't do it. And I have been doing this dance with the winery that we do the wine and spirits at over and over. And part of the problem right now is they don't have enough staff to keep up with anything.
And that's the problem with a lot of the places.
Okay.
No staff.
Yeah. So, if you have ideas, please shoot them over. There are many nights where I sit there and I just...
this is great talking to people. This is good, but it's so much nicer to talk to them and you can see their eyes and talk to them. It's just a better presentation and you guys are getting information and we're answering the best we can, but it's so different when it's in person. It's so much nicer.
It is. Oh, Heidi said maybe the Strongsville Rec Center, and then she said, "Never mind, no food at the rec center." Well, we can always do a walk without food.
Yeah, we could. Um, I don't know. You think and you think and you think about places. There's a place like I would love now. I would love to have something at Carrie Sereno's now. It's totally empty, totally vacant, and talk about doing a walkthrough.
Hmm.
But the bank owns it. I don't think they'd let us do that.
I want to get into the underground of Tower City, where the old railways and stuff are, and I've been trying to dig out who to contact to get down in there.
To think about that one. Well, if you've ever, for people that ride the Rapid, that empty seat next to you is probably not really empty, because there are all kinds of ghosts on every line of the Rapid system. Every line. It's ridiculous how many ghosts are down there. But think about people that ride the Rapid on their way to work, stressed out, coming home, tired, bad day at work. Look at the energy they're getting.
Well, Janice, do me a favor. She knows a manager of the Hooley House, and I think there's more than one location, but still, like, find out for me or hook me up. I'll go out there and have dinner just to go talk to them. I've done that too. And I'm like, oh darn, I have to go eat somewhere.
We just went by. It's got brew in the title in Strongsville.
Is that like the brew house?
Yes, I think that is it. You should see the cloud over the top of that place. So something is going on in there too, right?
The hard part is finding the off time to go. That's been my problem here. But
I'll tell you another place where there's a lot of ghosts: Salvation Army and Goodwill.
Those places just give me a headache.
And that is why, Melissa. But they're all religious organizations.
Right, yeah.
They're not their cup of tea.
Let's see. And of course, when are we coming to Savannah?
Okay, it's on the list of maybes.
Right. Well, hopefully, like at some point, if the podcast really takes off and everything, like we could do tours and stuff and do live talks and stuff with people, and might even get me up in front of people instead of sitting in the back playing cards with Ted. Because Ted and I, we have fun back there.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I just see the heads together talking and whispering, and it's looking at phones. Yeah, it's like, oh boy,
sharing memes back and forth.
Right.
And okay, I'm putting a new tab in: the Corkscrew Saloon in Medina. Have you heard of that one?
Never heard of that one, but we could definitely look at it.
Yeah. I have, like, why does my Google crash out? Well, when you got like 78 tabs open, it kind of just loses its mind. So yeah, feel free. And somebody asked about cemetery walks.
If you're going on a cemetery walk this Halloween, or going to the prison this Halloween, or doing any ghost houses this, go through and take the kids to these things, please have your seeds on you so that you don't bring anything home with you. Because the week after Halloween is when the phone really starts ringing. Did I bring something home with me?
Probably.
Did you have your seed on? No. Didn't you? Maybe.
And the Barley House. Somebody mentioned the Barley House. Let's see. Okay. So if anybody, please, thank you for the comments, and do me a favor, even though I've been opening up tabs, if you think of anything else, send them to the email for me. That way they can live there safely forever, and my Google won't crash out from all the tabs open, because I've had that happen. I'm like, well, crap.
It's all gone.
I don't remember what all 76 were.
Right. Start over.
But thank you guys for joining us and the podcast. please tell friends and share the fun with us, or share our fun with them. Maybe.
Have a really nice, safe Halloween this Sunday.
Oh, it is. Like, we have the psychic fair here in the store on Halloween. So this is
nice.
And everybody's supposed to be dressed up as different Tim Burton characters. So we'll see who all shows up as what. So all of the readers and everybody will be dressed up in the store.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So this will be fun. And I hope some little kids come in, because I always love seeing little kid costumes. I kind of miss my kid being 18 and not dressing up anymore.
Yeah, but it got to the point, it was really nice when they started making their own costumes.
Oh, he never did. When I quit, he's like, okay, well, I don't need to go anymore. And I'm like, what about the candy? He's like, I'm not a big candy fan anyway. I'm like, how are you my child? And of course, this was the kid that had to be things like a zombie garden gnome, Slender Man, Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. So it was nothing I could just go buy. I had to make all of these costumes. And I'm like, you're killing me. Stop it.
He just didn't want to be a pirate?
No.
Or a cowboy?
No.
Okay. Great.
No. And I'm like, fine, then I get all your Snickers and your caramel squares. Go gather them.
There you go.
It's
I have a friend that broke a jaw, had her jaw broken, and she was such a Snickers fan that she figured out a way to eat Snickers through a straw with her jaw flavored shot. Oh no, don't even go there, Melissa.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know.
Well, I have to go buy some Snickers now.
Okay, so we will see you guys next week.
Yes, next week at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. And check tonight the Halloween ghosts, and have a great week.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.